The fourth element of God is very powerful.
Okay.
Too powerful to be defined. Too powerful to make into a man or a woman. Too forgiving for our very bureaucratic society.
Wow.
Too liberated. It cannot be defined, but I'll say it like this. For some people, it takes them up until their last moment on earth to reach that crown chakra level, because those are the people that rely on reflecting back.
Mm-hmm.
So reflecting back on their own lives. And really, we love to do that. We love to look at who Chef Patanani was 3 years ago. But that version of you is dead.
Wow.
Right? The moment you can take your life as last year, the version of me is dead. The moment you can learn to do that and disassociate with it, with that character that you had, with all of its flaws, if you can learn to do that, then you will reach the crown chakra level very quickly. So here's a twist in the plot, Chef. People who choose to be, let's say, gay, lesbian, they inherently choose from a spiritual place a crown chakra type of an awakening, because you are inherently choosing to stand before judgment of others. You're inherently choosing to stand before the judgment of religion. You're inherently choosing to stand before the judgment of your family. You're inherently choosing to stand before the judgment of even yourself.
Now I was asking, would you say when we are awakening the God consciousness within, we are awakening the 7 spirits in the same way the Oriental people say they activated their chakras?
Yes. And here's the thing with our spirits, our 7 plus. 7 is in African spirituality. 7, the number 7 could be 7,000, because there's so many.
It's not just 7.
It's so interwoven. African spirituality is interwoven into many different belief systems, because it's like idlozi lakho is creating its own consciousness and its own belief system through you.
Okay, before we go, do you think there are people who are called abatagats and they are not abatagats? That is not a no. What's your thoughts? It's just a general one.
Okay, there are people that are called abatagati that are abatagati. But again,
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another interesting episode of Munchies and Thoughts. Your host, Chef Patanani Mbata. Hello everyone, welcome to another interesting episode of Munchies and Thoughts. My name is Patanani, I am your chef. Darlings, guess who is here with me today? Oh my goodness.
hi Chef.
Oh my goodness.
Listen, I'm out here guns blazing.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm here guns blazing. I'm here to sell an archetype. I don't know if that's got to do with today's topic, but
Let her do anything for you.
I'm here to sell Sporofeto.
My goodness, we missed you so much.
I know. I missed you guys also so much. There's been a lot going on.
Oh my goodness.
I needed to gather myself this year, ground a lot, come back to myself. So I had nothing to give previously. Now I'm back with a bang. So
are you good now? Are you fine now?
I'm well on my journey to.
I can see, and you're looking so nice. You're giving me a housewife vibe. You know that one.
Maybe it's time for me to go into the housewife setup.
You know how you're looking so stunning. Like you. Who is this? Who is this man? But anyway, you're looking so stunning. You're a papi doll.
Let me tell you why. It's so interesting that about a couple of weeks ago, my ancestors said to me that the reason that I'm not working is because I don't represent their organization well.
Wow.
And I was like, how? But you work for us again. You are not representing yourself well. And they said, if you can't go to a job looking like it, then you can't do it for us looking like it. So that was like a very big turning point for me. And I was like, okay, it's time to boss up. It's time to be boss bitch.
Okay, please introduce yourself. Those who don't know you, because it's khulile kwa-Munchies and Thoughts, khulile kwa-TikTok. Laba bangakwazi abaqala ukubona namhlanje ukuthi ubani, ubuyaphi, what's special about you. And of course, if you want to leave your contact details, because you'll never know after this episode, darlings. You know we cook here. We cook here. Over to you.
Thokozani bogogo nabomkhulu. I'm Lerato Unplugged. I'm a spiritual being. Ke moprofeta, ke ngaka. I'm guided by Badimu. I'm given wisdom by my ancestors. You guys will find me mainly on TikTok, on Facebook. I did a lot of teachings. On Instagram, I do live dream interpretations. So I'm an intuitive chef. I don't know. I mean, what am I? Ke ngaka meets moprofeta meets kereke meets Jesu meets mediumship meets ditaola meets dimbitani.
Okay.
Meets a social life.
And you know what's so interesting? Today, ngifuna sikhulume ngezinto abantu abangafuni ukukhuluma ngazo.
Okay. My favorite things to talk about.
Ngoba abantu, they are scared to be labeled. Ngoba abantu, they always bakha phezulu.
Yeah.
Ngoba sifuna ukuthandwa. Kanti forgetting ukuthi izinto lezi singakhulumi ngazo kumele bezizwe abantu.
Yeah.
And umuntu makakuthanda uzokuthanda.
Regardless.
Do you understand? And you know, the late Baba, may his soul rest in peace, Baba Ukredo.
Yes.
He's the man who used to go deep.
Yeah.
He used to go deep, that man.
Yeah.
All the codes, and the minds we don't have. We do have shows, spirituality this, spirituality that, Christianity this, Christianity that, but they are not giving us something tangible, something esizofunda ngayo. Because remember, Guti, you might have an episode or a show or a channel that is watched by maybe 3,000 people.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
You know why? Because this 3,000, there's something they are gaining.
Yep.
And going forward, a lot of people, they will come back and reference that. So that's what me and you will be doing. And you know why? Yeah. When I was choosing this, I was like, she's the right girl. Woo! Because this girl.
And she came ready. Came ready.
Anyway, I will be doing a lot of readings.
Okay.
You know, God in African. Today we seem to be recycling around things that are earthbound and seemingly fearful of going to other dimensions, like how Baba Credo has achieved, I did mention. If CPR stands for Cosmic Secrets, this episode attempts to share these secrets of the cosmic.
Okay.
So, Gogo, there is a creator God, Umdali Modimo, who we believe created the material and metamaterial universe. Africans appears to believe this is not a person or a gendered figure.
Yes.
Africans do not perceive God as embodiment of a male figure, but feminine force. What's your take? You had me reading. What's your take?
Okay. I want to answer it in maybe in a more scientific way.
It's fine. Anyway, This is your playground. I read whether you come and play. Yeah.
God is a state of rest. Okay. God is a state of rest. Simple example. Your books are resting on the table. Your book is not moving. It's not doing anything. It's sitting as it is, resting on the table with its own vibration. It is there. Right. So that's the true nature of God, a state of rest, state of being. That's why a tree is rooted. It's not moving. The leaves might move around. So the leaves are the movement. The leaves are the force part of God, right? But the tree itself is grounded there. Everything that God creates has got its own state of inertia, sense of being groundedness, sitting, doing nothing. That is the most important thing. And it is the reason why we do not see God. He's got no need for us. She's got no need. It's got no need for us to see it in a tangible form. Right? However, then God also becomes, whenever we move God from that state of rest to a state of action, that's now where we call God the force.
Okay, lovely.
Right? Now I'm taking the book out the force, right? And I'm going to read it. Or I'm taking the book out, away from where it is now. So by definition of this table, there are 10 books. According to this table, there are 10 books sitting on it in a state of rest. According to the packet of books, there's 10 books resting on the table in their state of rest. The moment I take a book out, that's force. That's the energy that of God, where people now start to make him a movement, a man, a whatever. Actually, when we define the movement of God, the kinetic energy of God, that's where now we start to come up with these labels of him or her being a personified, her being a creator. As people, we need to see God as a creator or as a force. We need to see God in his movement state. However, we forget that for how many eons God has spent his time in absolute rest. If there was a creation, it means there was a time when there was no creation.
Oh, okay.
So he can be both, and he's very comfortable being at that state where there is no creation. And the movement, again, the taking of the book, is where he says, I can be, because I am inherently in my state of rest. However, I can now become the force. This is where magic comes from. This is where people comes from. This is where synergy comes from. This is where inspiration comes from. All of those things are just aspects of what we call creation. So I think that the force element of God is very powerful. Okay. Too powerful to be defined. Too powerful to make into a man or a woman. Too forgiving for our very bureaucratic society. Wow. Too liberated.
Wow. Okay. In Abantu African folklore, there are 7 spirits or Izithunywa, Zikamenzi.
Yeah.
Messengers of God.
Yeah.
Mvelingangi, Smagade, Nomkubulwane, Nomhoi, Somandla Sodumo, as well as Ninahanu. Yes. Comforts, provider, creation, fertility. I know these are very Nguni names.
Yeah.
But now, do you have any names? I know you are you Sotho or Pedi?
I'm Tswana, actually.
You Tswana.
Yeah.
So, like, I know they are Ngunis, but in Tswana or any, is anything that you can say?
In Sotho, I know Bana le Tlata Macholo.
Okay.
There's actually a prayer dedicated to Tlata Macholo. Batswana mainly ke Modimo Badimo. Ramasedi, also Tswana Sotho interpretation of God. So Ramasedi meaning Father of Lights.
Okay.
Which other ones are there? There are so many.
Okay, fine. Are these 7 spirit code named for 7 chakras? Because I have been asking people what are the Bantu names for chakras, and no one seems to explain to me what you're saying.
The 7 spirits are actually a derivative of religion. Because I can take it out of the Bible where it speaks about the 7 spirits of God. Okay. In African spirituality, there are not 7 spirits of God, there's millions. Okay. Right? Are they related to the chakras? Like you say that maybe that, because in African spirituality, we don't acknowledge 7 chakras. Again, the reason why we don't acknowledge 7 chakras is because there are many chakras in the human body. So with us Africans, the simplest way okay, let me say hypothetically, the 7 spirits then were not derived from religion, and they were actually speaking about the 7 chakras, right? Hypothetically. Ngesintu, we achieve the effect of awakening those chakras at the same time the moment ugita, because the moment you hear the drum, right? Firstly, the drum yesinguni is paced to your heartbeat. That's why abantu bavukele lidlozi by that drum. It's the rhythm is meant to be paced with the natural flow of how your body sounds, the vibration of your body, right? So you hear that. So you're hearing it, the drum is beating with rhythm of your heartbeat and your body, uyogida. Ugida, if you look at them, they're not getting with their feet fully on the ground. There's a sense of elevation.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Yes.
You've got to move your waist. You've got to move your feet. All of these things are aligning your chakras.
Oh, yes.
Ugida, and even the moving up and the swinging of Ishoba and all of that, these are all movements. And if you think about it, Ugida, the drum, Ishoba, they've got one thing in common. It's a cyclical movement. You're meant to do, so that's cyclical. If you were to draw that frequency, cyclical. Ishoba, same thing.
Yes.
Cyclical. So again, I suppose then we wouldn't have a definition of the chakras because just ukugita is like a way to awaken all of your chakras. All of them except the crown chakra. Right?
Okay.
And the crown chakra is mainly activated when you have come to a point of co-creation.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Crown chakra is associated nabelos. So this is where now you are having, call it a divine union with ilos lako. Right? Idlozi doesn't instruct you what to do anymore. Idlozi doesn't tell you ukuthi ungayithathi lento inobungozi. Idlozi doesn't tell you that. Idlozi lets you walk into every experience for yourself and learn how to come out of it. Wow. So to be able to get to your crown chakra, and it's so interesting that you say that, I raise up the issue of the crown chakra. The more you're willing to be different, the more you're willing to be authentic, the more you're willing not to fit in, is the quickest, easiest way to open up your crown chakra. Where your beliefs now and what you thought or what you were taught no longer makes sense. Where what you think you know is nonsensical, and imiti yako that you were used to, or izwasho zako, ibhavi zako that you were used to, your modus operandi no longer works. That's when you know you are going towards your crown chakra, because you have to get to a point nedlozi where you realize ukuthi umuti, the healing is you.
The healing is you.
You are the healing.
Wow. My munchies and thoughts, I hope you are still enjoying this episode. This is beautiful. The healing is you, your crown chakra darlings. So tell me, how long it can take someone to get to that chakra? You spoke about Tuguti, the gathering. That's when you invoke this chakras. Ne? So I just want to understand, because you just mentioned now, when you see things differently, I'll say it like that.
Yeah.
That's when now you are getting the direction, crown.
Okay. The question that you're asking is it cannot be defined, but I'll say it like this. For some people, it takes them up until their last moment on earth to reach that crown chakra level, because those are the people that rely on reflecting back. So reflecting back on their own lives. And really, we love to do that. We love to look at who Chef Patanani was 3 years ago. But that version of you is dead.
Wow.
Right? The moment you can take your life as last year, the version of me is dead. The moment you can learn to do that and disassociate with it, with that character that you had, with all of its flaws, if you can learn to do that, then you will reach your crown chakra level very quickly. So here's a twist in the plot, Chef. People who choose to be, let's say, gay, lesbian, they inherently choose from a spiritual place a crown chakra type of an awakening, because you are inherently choosing to stand before judgment of others. You're inherently choosing to stand before the judgment of religion. You're inherently choosing to stand before the judgment of your family. You're inherently choosing to stand before the judgment of even yourself, because even you guys get rejected within your own relationships. So it's so funny that to get to the crown chakra level is where you completely deconstruct everything that you ever thought you were, with no guilt. And how many of us really hold shame about things that we've done years ago, weeks ago, whatever. And that's where I guess Idlozi will bring in the religion element, or the spiritualist element, so that they can help you to ground yourself, so that you can only perceive a sense of you've become a better person. It's a mental construct that Idlozi is trying to do for you, Mauyo Twas. They're trying to mentally prepare you so that you can get to the point when you can say, no, actually, you know what? I made a mistake last night or last year. I was this person. I was toxic. I was abusive. I was this. But, that person has died and I'm going to be a different person now.
I think we're scared of... I hear what you're saying. But some people, they've got this thing, then manje sangibona ngiso. So there will be confusion there.
And that in itself is a contradiction because uNkulunkulu himself in the Bible is like that.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, he creates people. He created people. After that, he decides that he wants to tell Adam and Eve to leave his house because they did what he did not like. And not only that, he gives the child who kills one of his siblings a chance. Right?
I hear you.
And then goes and has a whole massacre by Noah's Ark and kills the entire world. And then comes back and says, oh no, I'm never doing this again. Our own creator is that way.
So who I am.
Why? What's the issue?
Anyway, I hear you. Would you say when we awaken the God consciousness within, we are awakening these 7 spirits in the same way the Oriental people say they activated their chakras? Therefore, what can you tell us about number 7 in Ubungaka?
Okay. Number 7 in Kabungaka. Again, I will say these numbers, numerology, hangata, is associated with religion.
Okay.
Right. So the moment Reberkisa number 7, Mobungaking, it's again calling upon a divine power. We are introducing the consciousness of what religion calls God or Jesus Christ. Right? The moment we follow a numerological pattern, it's among the Bible, 7 days, 7 this, 7 that. Right? We are now tapping into the consciousness of Christ consciousness or the God complex of the religious God complex, right? But what you were asking me was, I forgot my trail of thought right now. What were you asking me?
Now I was asking, would you say when we are awakening the God consciousness within, we are awakening the 7 spirits in the same way the Oriental people say they activated their chakras?
Yes, and here's the thing with our spirits, our 7 plus. 7 is in African spirituality. 7, the number 7 could be 7,000, because there's so many.
It's not just 7.
It's so interwoven. African spirituality is interwoven into many different belief systems because it's like Idlozi Lako is creating its own consciousness and its own belief system through you for itself. For Ikaya Lagini, Umsamagini, it's got nothing to do with what's happening in Ikaya. So you can't really write a book like a Bible to sit imitato because Idlozi Lagini is creating its own consciousness. So it won't necessarily be applicable to Maimsam. It won't.
Sure.
So Idlozi Lako, it's like you are co-creating Idlozi Lako, but when we do reach the enlightenment and connect and Idlozi, do we reach an equivalent of, like you say, the 7 chakras? Yes, we do, and more, right? The Orientals or the is it Eastern mystics?
Eastern, yes.
They speak about the Kundalini and the snake and all of that, but Idlozi actually works in cycles, in circles. Our ancestors work in circles, right? And this is how you can see it. A drum is circular.
Oh, yes.
Beads are circular.
Yes.
Idlozi, right? And that is the macabre. Idlozi loves to work in circular. Circles mean what? Molecules. They mean the nucleus. They mean oscillation, vibration, circle. And again, we're going back to the true identity of God. He is that table that's sitting. This table, just because it's not moving, doesn't mean it doesn't have its own oscillation. And if you look at oscillation, it's symbolized by circles, circles. When you get a group of oscillations, that's what you get, and you call it vibration. So Africans, we use these secular things a lot. Even our art, you look at paintings of us, it's circular faces.
Yes.
Our masks that we used to use in West Africa to represent our gods, their eyes were an oval shape, mouth is circular mask, oval shape. That is what we work with because we don't believe in symmetry. We don't believe in a yin and yang. We don't believe in that. The secular movement means that there's no beginning, there's no end. That's what it is. There's no man, there's no woman, there's no this, there's no right, there's no wrong. We don't have that comparison in African spirituality. It doesn't have that. Especially at crown level chakra, they know that does not exist. So that is why they go for circular. Everything is circular. You look at your human body, any part that ever recreates, any part that creates is circular.
And the families, if there was something...
Impande is circular.
Wow. Okay, African concept of evil and hell.
Whew.
Let me read this for you. Credo, I did speak about Ubaba when we started. Because, I love that man because he doesn't hold it back.
Yes.
And the man is a holder.
Yeah.
Ngathi sisabukusizo ama clients.
Yeah.
Kanti cha.
Yeah.
Ama client amakufuna azokuthola. Amakuthanda azokuthanda.
Yeah.
And ama client mina manje wami ngabonile ayathanda iqiniso. My matches, I shame. Okay, Credo wrote, in the beginning, there was a constant battle between the darkness, ubumnyama, and light, ukukanya, and continued to say, this battle is forever.
Yes.
Is this darkness part of who God is? What's your thought?
God inherently, I will take it from Sporofit.
Okay.
In the beginning, he says, let there be light, meaning that before that command, there was no light.
Okay.
So it means that he had been existing in the darkness and he was comfortable with the darkness all along. The light was created only for us. So the definition of heaven and hell, good and evil, was created only for us. And here's the proof that the God concept, God itself, has got no interest in differentiating what is evil and what is good. There's so many wars going on in the world and there's no intervention from a God. There's no intervention from a God.
So will you say darkness is part of who we are as
Darkness is part of God. Darkness is part of us. Darkness is where everything came from. The void, the emptiness.
Do you, Koko, believe on this thing, Uguti, when we die? Some they will go to hell, some they will go to...
That's a nonsensical story.
Okay, tell me.
According to me, no. When you die, what would be the criteria? Mm-hmm. The problem is that, let me say our belief systems are flawed. And the point of the belief system is to keep people stupid and to keep people as bureaucratic and prejudiced. Mm-hmm. That's where this whole concept comes from. But if we were to even look at, let's say, religion itself, and we look at the Messiah, Jesus Christ, he himself never preached a heaven or hell. He himself never preached that. He always spoke about the things that mattered in this world and how we should live. And his words were love unconditionally, be inclusive. So what is the criteria to go to a hell now?
Okay, thank you. So just this, do you think we understand what is darkness as people?
No, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No.
Okay, you can proceed.
We have come to feel that darkness is, we've come to associate it with evil. Uh-huh. But what we don't realize is that evil is everywhere. And what we realize, sometimes we look at darkness, demonic energies, evil, as its own separate realm or entity. And it is, because we have made it that way. But again, we fail to realize our inherent evil as a collective. Here's a simple example. There's things going on in Palestine. It wouldn't take a lot for our presidents of the world to put a stop to this. But we choose now, because we are ignoring it, because we are not becoming conscious of it, we think then we are not evil. But us ignoring it doesn't stop the murders. Us ignoring it doesn't stop all of these genocides and massacres that have happened throughout mankind. So actually, when we ignore things, it means that we are inherently evil. We are giving the evil entity permission to be evil then. So it's so interesting how double standard of, how much we've got double standards, because we think that evil is something that is bad that has been presented to you as patanani, right? And it is evil according to your experience. But what about the sociopath who is a mass murderer because he was molested over and over by his mother? What about him? You know, I had a very crazy interpretation recently. I had a visit from one of my darker energies who was talking to me about this whole P. Diddy case, right? That, you know, P. Diddy's got like this tattoo of this god or goddess that protects women and children. And people are saying online that how can he be such a pedophile and doing all these things with that tattoo? But what I was told by the so-called dark energy that came to visit me was P. Diddy made an oath. He made an oath. He made an offering to that deity. He made that offering needing his own protection from that deity.
His own, not for
him,
other people.
He was not being Jesus.
I love that.
And whatever that he was doing, that deity knows how it and P. Diddy came into collaboration.
Yes.
So clearly him having that tattoo shows that he's gone through similar things, maybe as a child, that no one is saying. Today we're looking at him as evil.
Evil.
And because he's doing this, look, it's not that his actions are right. His actions are wrong. However, it starts somewhere.
Wow.
And that deity is not going to drop him now because it's a protector. That deity is not a Jesus concept. That deity doesn't apply to everybody. P. Diddy made offerings to that deity.
Wow.
So what is darkness?
Okay, you just raised something. I wrote a book and there are a lot of nakedness on my book.
Yeah.
And do you think we only came to understand what is darkness after we read the Bible?
Absolutely.
Okay, tell me more.
In African tradition, you are deemed umthakathi, which is the equivalent of evil. When you have done a crime, actually umthakathi is when you've done something wrong, and abantu abadala, the elders or a khosi, has called you in and you have been reprimanded and you have been fined and you refuse to pay the fine and you refuse to stop the negative behavior. Then they say you are umthakathi, meaning you are a witch. And then all they do is simply exclude you from their society. That's all that happens. They tell you, listen, we don't want you in our society anymore. We've tried to fine you. You won't pay the fine. We've tried to do this. There's been a lot of steps taken in rehabilitation. So umthakathi, according to African society, is a person who refuses rehabilitation. And that person is given the tools and the aids, and they will be fined eventually, right? Why? Because the purpose of the fine is so that that person obviously has got a monetary loss. So getting that fine is meant to inspire that person to do better, to avoid having inkomo zakhe zonke being taken now because of fines. So if you will not submit to the laws of the elders of Isizwe where you are, right? And you've got nothing, or you will not pay the fines, then we simply say umthakathi, and we exclude you. Go and start your
own things there, because we can't deal.
You don't fit in with our society, right? So we don't have a whole evil story.
Okay, before we go, do you think there are people who are called abathakathi and they are not abathakathi? That is not a no. What's your thoughts? It's just a general one.
Okay, there are people that are called abathakathi that are abathakathi. But again, bathakathi le wena na. Like, how do you know we're muthakathi? The biggest muthakathis are the people we sleep with. Those are the muthakathis. If you did not exchange bodily fluid with someone, how would you care? What effect does umthakathi bakhe have on you? That person is sitting there they're minding their own business.
And they
As
are
umthakathi
minding
bakhe.
their own business. Anyway, is the concept of evil from African perspective different from the idea of evil in the Bible? And then the follow-up question, who is our Satan? Because that is a foreign word or concept.
We don't have evil. Our concept of evil is very, very different from the religious concept, definitely. And I've explained it why. Who is our version of Satan? We don't have a version of that.
Okay.
We've got negative demonic energies, like we spoke about and all of these demonic forces that come in and basically, and the point, okay, I guess the only thing that these demonic forces and the religious Satan have in common is that they are meant to destroy. But again, when we know that there's a demonic energy, this is how we know our crops are dying. Our crops are dying. Our kids are getting sick.
If they are
if
demonic.
There's a demonic entity. So, mama ongazilanga after her husband dies and moves on with her life is by definition carrying a demonic entity because our crops will die.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's why she's got to wait a year, right? And have a year later in winter.
So they need to wait for a year.
Yeah, she's got to wait for a year.
They can't wait less than that.
They can make it less, but as long as that her period falls within winter, she's got to be cleansed within winter when the crops are not growing in any case.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
But let's say Mama Lo, whose husband has died, has decided, okay, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to keep on moving around in the village and, get my freak on. Then we will see the crops, they will not, come spring, October, harvest season, our crops will die. So for us, negative energies speak so much towards practice. And we also see physical signs. We will see things like birds not coming through. We have problems with water. That's why we need now to do the water, the rainmakers dances and things like that. These are all signs that there is a negative presence or the absence of umakhosi or amadlozi of the land.
Wow.
Or they've chosen to look away. So unlike in religion, the religion Satan, apparently you go walking around this whole world, you think you're good, and then after you leave your physical body here, you go and find out at some court room that I actually know you are not. And then there's like this fireplace that's sitting waiting for you.
Yeah.
Where's the logic in that?
I mean, I don't know.
There's no logic.
You need to educate me.
There's no logic.
I mean, I don't know. Okay, Lerato, yeah. Now I'm out of this.
Okay.
I just want to ask you, there's okay, let me not bring that one. What's your thought about Impepo? I'm asking this because I know why.
Impepo is not for everybody. Impepo ibizam imimoya.
Okay.
It does call negative spirits. Impepo inherently, when you light it, Impepo grows eskanyen.
Okay.
So the moment you're lighting Impepo that grows in the wilderness, who are you calling? Because the wilderness is nobody's house.
Okay.
So do you want to connect with your ancestors using Impepo? Initially, they will allow you to do that when you've got a very weak sense of identity.
Okay.
Right? Then you will get the lower vibration of what you call idlozi lakho come and see you when you visit, when you light Impepo. Idlozi lakho itself is highly evolved. Amadlozi are highly evolved. They're very, very intelligent. Right? If they can have more than 7,000 chakras awakened, and remember I said they co-create. So when you light Impepo yako and idlozi lakho can see that you have got an identity crisis, then they will send a lower version of itself. It will send a lower version of its own God self to come and visit you and give you shallow, lower self dreams, because that's what you need at that time. If you don't know who you are, you can't raise your vibration. So now idlozi becomes here, you are here. So then idlozi says, okay, Nyempepo, I will send a lower version of myself. A lower version of myself. And then that lower version will come and speak to you at the level which you are. As you build your self-identity, then they're going to tell you, where did you see us doing that? Then like after you get to solar plexus and heart chakra, like they shout at you now.
So Lempepo lena kahle kahle It's dangerous.
It is, because you are essentially making a declaration to the spirit world that I don't know who I am. And I'm dabbling in the spirit realm, and I'm trying to get help from a source that is outside of me or a source that is within me, but I don't know that source because I don't know myself. So who are you calling?
Lerato.
Hey. Look, in real life, people no. No, I reward our ancestors. But now, where did you see this?
I need this.
Where did you see this? Where did you see this? And it is like that.
So, what's your advice to people who are about lighting paper?
If you want to light in paper, go and do it outside. Don't do it inside your house. Right? If unendumba and utwasile dlozi and like I'm saying, this, I would say graduates, people who've graduated, because they've got experience working with the spirit realm.
Okay.
Umuntu who's graduated, they know that even if I light in paper, who's a certain energy, let's say umdawo othize, right? Not necessarily ukuthi umdawo wasendlini or whatever. He's well versed with the spirit world. So he would know what that energy means, why that energy is attracted to him, why or her, why that energy is coming through. Right? So he would know that energy, even if it's ifuna inkukhu emnyama, that is happening in Dumbeni, which is not in Samu again. Indumba is just an extension of your Msamu. But in
So
Dumba,
I light in paper endlini.
That's why it's in Dumba or the back room. Right? This is where you can go and have this whole collective conversation about who you think you are. There, outside, not inside the house. Not where you sleep, not your grandmother's house. There's no need. Unless if it is your culture in your family to do that. And as far as I know, Amazulu ngabo abalight impepo. So runa batsana nna ke tso re batla mo mpepong. It's true.
Okay, last time I read something. I think you were commenting somewhere.
Yeah.
You said when are you only using paper when you are calling the dark?
Yes.
Okay.
Right? So if I'm going to do a cleansing, okay, this is a bit crazy, but if I'm going to do a cleansing, let's say for a lady who's been left in Islwane, right? And the most difficult slani to get rid of is the one that women get through sex from men labatwele.
Which one is that now?
I don't even know what to call it.
It's a snake.
Yeah, I just see it as it looks like a pink snake to me with veins. That's how I know. That's my sign.
Okay.
To cleanse that slane, to remove it, remember now the slane is in the whole reason why it was introduced, let's say, into my life through sexual intercourse was that it must thrive and channel my vitality, my force, my creative power, my independence, channel all of that energy into you and your business. So abantu abathwalayo, normally, that's why they would need to have more than one woman and they've got to sleep around, because this thing is there to collect energy. That's all it does, really. It collects sacral energy from people, which is your creative force, right? So when I've got to cleanse a woman of that snake, I will light impepo, because it's not idlozi like that I'm trying to connect to. I will light black candles. I'm not trying to talk to idlozi like.
Oh, this makes sense.
Right?
This makes sense.
So the clothing will be dark. The practice is dark. I will have a chair somewhere where they sit down, and I will light impepo, and I will just do a prayer. That energy will come out automatically. It's so shocking, Chef, because the last lady, she literally started speaking Nigerian. I was shook. I'd never seen anything like that before. So that's what I do. I light impepo to specifically connect with the entity, whether it's the snake itself or the person behind the snake, and they can give me answers, right? And the more that they're vocal, or the more they're upset, or whatever the case, or the more this woman, normally these women, the moment I light impepo, they start to feel sick, because it's the sickness that's been sitting on them for a long time. Then I know that I'm on the right track, and I am using black candles. Right? Because demonic goes to demonic. And for me, not that black candles are bad. For me, I have created, let's say, an agreement with the energies that I work with, that black represents demonic. So I use black for that reason. Demonic to demonic. That's it.
Thank you. I've got a lot, but anyway.
But I talk a lot.
I still have. It's just, but we'll talk. Your word of wisdom to the munchies before we close the show.
My word of wisdom is follow your heart. Follow your greatest passions. Have faith that whether it's God or Jesus or Idlozi Lakho, have faith that that entity has got your best interests at heart.
Wow.
Have faith that you're going to always be happy. It doesn't matter what's going on.
Wow.
And beautiful. Never betray yourself.
Wow. Never betray yourself.
Never betray
yourself. That's powerful. My munchies and thoughts, I want to say thank you so much for your love and support. Guys, you are always there. We are growing each and every day. And I want to say thank you so much to each and everyone who purchased my book. My book is doing well. If you want a copy, please do send me an email, a WhatsApp, DM me. Don't call me. Don't call me. I'm married. And we deliver across South Africa via Pexi. And Miss Lerato, I want to say thank you so much for taking your time to come and sit with me here and educate my munchies.
I love you.
Oh, what?
I love you. Yeah.
You're gonna make me cry.
And I love your munchies too. I'm so happy that you had me.
Oh my goodness.
And love and light to you, blessings and peace to you and your people. And this book is gonna go. So lira ke mbuka ye di munchies low. Arko fufulelwa mahala. Mo bone bila mswete.
On that note, it's a wrap and goodbye, darlings. Thank you so much.